America's cities are facing a financial crisis. This is not just a temporary setback, but a growing concern that has been building over the years. From coast to coast, municipalities are grappling with shrinking budgets, mounting debts, and the rising costs of essential services. These financial strains are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader systemic issue affecting urban centers nationwide. This financial distress threatens the quality of life for millions of Americans and casts a shadow over the future of urban centers. Families, businesses, and entire communities are feeling the impact as essential services become harder to maintain. Understanding the root causes of this crisis is essential for developing effective solutions. It's not just about balancing the books, it's about ensuring the sustainability and growth of our cities for future generations. The warning signs are evident in cities large and small. From bustling metropolises to quaint small towns, the financial health of our urban areas is in jeopardy. Budget shortfalls are forcing difficult choices, leading to cuts in essential services and infrastructure investments. This means fewer resources for road repairs, public libraries, and even basic utilities. The consequences are tangible: deteriorating roads, understaffed schools, and reduced public safety measures. These issues not only affect daily life, but also the long-term prospects of our cities. This crisis is not merely a matter of numbers on a balance sheet. It represents a fundamental threat to the vitality and well-being of our urban communities. The social fabric of our cities is at risk as financial instability undermines community cohesion. The challenges facing cities are complex and interconnected. Economic, social, and infrastructural issues are all intertwined, making it difficult to address one without considering the others. Declining tax revenues, driven by factors such as population loss and economic shifts, have eroded the financial foundations of many municipalities. As people move away or businesses close, the tax base shrinks, creating a vicious cycle of decline. At the same time, cities are grappling with rising costs for healthcare, pensions, and infrastructure maintenance. These escalating expenses put additional pressure on already strained budgets. These converging pressures have created a perfect storm, forcing city leaders to make difficult decisions with long-term consequences. The choices made today will shape the future of our urban landscapes for decades to come. Addressing this crisis requires a multifaceted approach that addresses both the immediate symptoms and the underlying causes of urban financial distress. It involves strategic planning, community engagement, and innovative thinking. It demands a commitment to fiscal responsibility, innovative solutions, and a renewed focus on the essential role that cities play in our national fabric. Collaboration between government, private sector, and community organizations is crucial. Failure to act decisively will have profound consequences, not only for our cities but for the nation as a whole. The time to act is now, to safeguard the future of our urban centers and ensure they remain vibrant, thriving places for all. At the heart of the urban financial crisis lies a fundamental challenge: the erosion of the tax base. This issue is not just a modern-day problem, but has been brewing for decades, affecting cities of all sizes and across various regions. Cities rely heavily on property taxes, income taxes, and sales taxes to fund essential services. These taxes are the lifeblood of urban infrastructure, supporting everything from public safety to education and even recreational facilities. However, several factors have conspired to shrink these revenue streams, leaving cities with fewer resources to meet their obligations. The decline in revenue is not just a financial issue, but a social one, impacting the quality of life for urban residents. One major factor is the decline of manufacturing. Once the backbone of many urban economies, manufacturing has either moved overseas or become highly automated, reducing the number of available jobs. As traditional industries have contracted or moved overseas, cities that were once centers of industrial production have experienced significant population loss and economic decline. This exodus has left behind a landscape of empty homes and deserted streets. This has resulted in a smaller tax base and a reduced capacity to generate revenue. City councils and budget committees are often left scrambling to make ends meet, cutting essential services or deferring maintenance on critical infrastructure. The loss of well-paying manufacturing jobs has also contributed to income inequality and poverty, further straining city budgets. The social safety nets are stretched thin, and the demand for services like food banks and homeless shelters has skyrocketed. The rise of the digital economy has also had a profound impact on municipal finances. While tech companies bring innovation, they often do not contribute to the local tax base in the same way traditional businesses do. E-commerce has led to a decline in sales tax revenue as consumers increasingly make purchases online, often from companies located outside city limits. This shift has left brick-and-mortar stores struggling to compete, leading to more empty storefronts. This shift in consumer behavior has created a significant fiscal challenge for cities, which have traditionally relied on sales taxes to fund a wide range of services. Public libraries, community centers, and even emergency services are feeling the pinch. Furthermore, the growth of suburbs and exurbs has drawn residents and businesses away from city centers, further eroding the tax base. Suburban areas often offer lower taxes and more space, making them attractive alternatives to urban living. This trend has been exacerbated by factors such as affordable housing shortages in urban areas and the perception of higher crime rates. These issues make it difficult for cities to retain residents and businesses. As a result, cities are faced with the challenge of providing services to a shrinking population with dwindling resources. The struggle to balance budgets while maintaining essential services is a daunting task, requiring innovative solutions and strong leadership. Another major contributor to the financial woes of U.S. cities is the growing burden of debt. This debt is not just a recent phenomenon, but has been accumulating over decades, creating a complex web of financial obligations that cities must navigate. Cities often rely on municipal bonds to finance infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and schools. These bonds are essentially loans that cities take out, promising to pay back the principal along with interest over a specified period. The funds raised through these bonds are crucial for maintaining and developing the infrastructure that supports daily life and economic activities. While these investments are essential for economic growth and quality of life, they also come with long-term financial obligations. The interest payments on these bonds can strain city budgets, especially when economic conditions are less favorable. This creates a delicate balance between investing in the future and managing current financial health. New York City, for example, is grappling with a staggering $177 billion in outstanding debt. This figure is not just a number, it represents the cumulative effect of years of borrowing to fund various projects and obligations. This massive liability is the result of decades of borrowing to fund infrastructure projects, pension obligations, and other expenditures. Pension obligations, in particular, have become a significant financial strain as the population ages and more public employees retire. While the city has managed to avoid a fiscal crisis thus far, the sheer size of its debt burden poses a significant risk to its long-term financial stability. The challenge is not just about managing current debt, but also about planning for future financial needs without exacerbating the existing debt load. The problem is compounded by the fact that interest rates are rising. Higher interest rates increase the cost of borrowing, making it more expensive for cities to issue new bonds or refinance existing debt. As the Federal Reserve tightens monetary policy to combat inflation, the cost of borrowing for cities is increasing. This means that cities will have to allocate more of their budgets to interest payments, potentially at the expense of other critical services and investments. This means that cities will have to pay more in interest on their existing debt, leaving less money available for other essential services. Budget meetings become more contentious as city officials grapple with the challenge of balancing the books while still providing necessary services to residents. Moreover, some cities have engaged in risky borrowing practices, such as issuing variable rate bonds or using derivatives to hedge against interest rate fluctuations. These financial instruments can be complex and carry their own set of risks. While these strategies can offer potential cost savings, they also expose cities to greater financial risks, especially during times of economic uncertainty. The volatility of financial markets can quickly turn these strategies from cost-saving measures into significant liabilities, further complicating the financial landscape for cities. Adding to the financial strain on cities is the looming crisis of underfunded pensions. Pensions are retirement plans that provide guaranteed income to government employees, including teachers, firefighters, and police officers. However, many cities have failed to adequately fund these plans, leaving them with significant unfunded liabilities. Years of underfunding, coupled with rising healthcare costs and longer life expectancies, have created a perfect storm for pension funds across the country. As more city workers retire and draw on these funds, the shortfall between assets and liabilities is widening, threatening the financial stability of many municipalities. Chicago, for example, faces a pension crisis of staggering proportions. The city has accumulated an estimated $30 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, representing a significant portion of its overall budget. This massive shortfall has forced the city to make difficult choices, including raising property taxes and cutting essential services. The problem of underfunded pensions is not unique to Chicago. Cities across the country are grappling with similar challenges, and the consequences of inaction are dire. If cities are unable to meet their pension obligations, it could lead to drastic cuts in essential services, a decline in the quality of life for residents, and even bankruptcy.